What's up, fam? I'm Ryan Milton from TeamFFLEX. You're on my show, Protein Power, where every single week we talk about your nutrition. We're going to talk about tools, tips, strategies, all kinds of stuff on this show. And that's why I'm telling you to subscribe, all right? Please make sure you do that. Today, we're going to talk about quarantine and 3 ways you can stay on top of your nutrition right now during quarantine. Please do me a favor again, subscribe to the channel, and then when you get something out of this video today, share it because it will be worth it for your friends, your family, and anyone you know. Thanks for watching Protein Power. I'm Ryan Milton from TeamFFLEX. Parts of the world start to now open up slowly. Most of the world is still on this quarantine situation that we've been on for weeks and weeks and weeks. I know out here in Vegas, it's got to be week 6 or 7 that honestly things have been shut down out here on the strip. It's kind of crazy to think about. Everything's closed down. And so, you know, with this, as a fitness coach, this has become a period of time where there's been a lot of adaptation. I've had to convert a lot of people to home workouts. Like pretty much actually everybody is on a home workout right now because I don't think I know one person that is in a real normal gym. They might be in their friends' gyms or whatever, but they're not in the normal box gym setting. So I've had to convert every workout. And with that, I've also had to figure out, hey, how do we map out nutrition here to make it the most beneficial? Because I already know as a fitness coach, let me tell you this truth, okay? The nutrition is no different when you're at home on quarantine versus out in the world. Yeah, there might be stuff you can't get. Maybe you need to shift things around a little bit more flexible dieting. But as far as how you get results, you know, burn fat, build muscle, maintain your body, all of that, nutrition-wise, is exactly the same as if we're not on quarantine, okay? Meaning if you want to burn fat, you need a caloric deficit. You want to build muscle, you need a caloric surplus. You want to maintain, you need to be at maintenance. And that's not something that's changed. What has changed is the fact that people are very, very much so thrown off their normal everyday routine. Okay, as they sit at home now, you know, on stay-at-home orders, don't go out, they can't go to work, they're not doing anything, you know. The scheduled meal times you had are different probably. A lot of people have a hard time with the snacking. A lot of people are drinking too much. There's a lot of these things going on that are heavily affecting people's nutrition and their way to get results. And so really I want to come on here today to talk about 3 ways that I can give you some tips to help you really stay ahead of the game right now, because you want to be on top of your nutrition for your overall health and wellness all the time. I always talk about this. You also want to stay on top of your goals, right? You want to come out of quarantine not having a bunch of bad stuff to undo, basically, from weeks of snacking, over drinking, overeating, all that. You want to come back and you want to be on top. You want to be ready to go when, you know, these things are done, when we're done with the stay-at-homes, when we're back in the gyms, when we're back to work. You don't want to have to be unhealthier. You don't want to come out of quarantine unhealthier than when you went in. And unfortunately, that's happened to a lot of people. So let's talk about these tips. And this works really well for some people, and some people it doesn't. And I'm not necessarily the biggest advocate of this one, but since I know it works for a lot of people, I'm going to suggest it. Plan out all your meals for the week in advance, okay? And a lot of times when you do this, it's what we call a meal prep. So basically, you know, you got your macros, you got your numbers, you know, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, your fibers you need to be eating. And now what you want to do is take this 7-day span. A lot of people will do this on a Sunday, whatever day, doesn't matter. And they're going to prep out an entire week of meals. So basically they pre-decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to eat this for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and I'm going to have these snacks. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make it all in one sitting. You know, it takes 3, 4, 5 hours where you're going to prep out all this food, and then you put it in the fridge, you freeze some of it, whatever, and it's just there. It's on call. So, you know, you walk over to the fridge, fridge, you're ready to go. Makes it a lot easier to stay on top of your nutrition for some people because it eliminates the choice. Okay, as in the beginning I said, I'm not necessarily a huge advocate of this because I really do like my clients to have a lot more flexibility, because when they start getting in the same pattern, then it can honestly sometimes do negative effects because they get stuck, thinking they can only eat a few things. But at the end of the day, this can work as a good reset to get you off whatever you got going on at home right now. If you're totally off the rails, off the grid, eating too much, drinking too much, not tracking, not doing anything, a meal prep for 7 days could be a good reset for you. And then maybe you reassess to one of these other options I'm going to talk about. Tip number 2, this is just a variation of tip number 1, really. It's a good introduction out of, in other words, the last phase. So if you start maybe with the 7-day plan, now you can move to this one. Some of you already will be in a spot where this one just makes the most sense. Plan out 3 days of your food in advance, okay? And so you're gonna prep now for half the week, and then midweek you're gonna change it to another, meal plan, basically. So you have your macros, you have all the stuff, you prep out your meals, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, your snacks, you hit all your goals. Then you just prep out 3 days worth of food, piece of cake. And then on that 3rd day, you're gonna go ahead and cook again, right? 3rd, 4th day, you're gonna cook again, and you're gonna cook some new meals now. So you redo that process, right? You replan something, you change this, change that. It's a little bit more flexible, it's a little bit more dynamic. I tend to be more on the side of this is a better way to go about it, because at the end of the day, what I'm always trying to promote for all my clients is longevity. I want you to be able to do what you're doing for the longevity of it. Meal plans, strict meal plans where you're doing the same thing every day for 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they're out there. You guys know it. A lot of you that have been in the fitness industry for any amount of time know that sometimes a coach will throw you on a meal plan and leave you there for 3 months at a time, no changes. And what happens is there's no longevity there. It doesn't last. It might last a few months. Maybe you can do it a few weeks. It's not going to last the rest of your life. If you know how to do flexible dieting, macro tracking, and this whole nutritional approach where you can have some variance in meals, you can have some changes here and there, that is massive as far as where you're going to be able to go and how you're going to be able to get results. That goes for a lifetime, right? You could always track macros. You could always be changing your nutrition. It's just a lot more variability and flexibility. I really like that for all my clients. So for all you out here watching, I would suggest probably if you're in a good enough spot, you haven't gone off the rails too bad yet, but you want to ring in your nutrition a bit, probably start with this one. Do the half and the half. Prep 3 days out, switch up your meals midweek, prep another 3 days out, and you could carry that on for a pretty good amount of time, definitely through quarantine.
I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead at every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret.
Tip number 3, my last ditch approach to you getting on top of your nutrition through quarantine. This is for all my flexible dieters out there. All you out there that have been doing macro tracking for years, you're a pro, you've been doing it, you know how to do it, you know how to manipulate foods, what kind of things fit your macros best. You are somebody that's been doing it. This approach is probably the best one for you. Plan out your meals the night before. Simple as that. That's it. And literally, you can sit down, today's Monday, I can sit down tonight, I want to eat Tuesday, I'm going to have breakfast this, I'm going to have lunch this, I'm going to have dinner this, snack, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to plan out all that stuff for my goals. I'm going to adjust, I'm going to manipulate, I'm going to move things around, I'm going to make sure it all lines up. And then on Monday night, Tuesday night, in other words, for this example, I'm going to do it again. So pretty much every night, you're going to sit down and you're going to plan out your day before. And again, what this does is it lets you be ahead of the game, so you're not on the fly, guessing, you're not taking a shot here, you're not just eating and tracking later. During quarantine, people end up snacking too much, they end up in the kitchen too much because they're bored. But if you plan out your stuff and you know what you need to do, all you need to do is open your app, you look, boom, okay, cool, I see what I'm eating this, it's this time, I'm gonna eat it, boom. And now, even at the end of the day, you could be eating, feeling like you're snacking, eating all day, but in reality, it's all tracked, and it's gonna keep you on track for your goals too. Obviously though, this approach has you making literally 7 different food day choices per week. Every night, basically, you're planning for the next day. So it's the most intensive as far as the tracking goes. But if you do this, if you are somebody who's experienced with macros, you've been doing this a while, you know how to do this, it's not going to be hard for you at all. It's actually a little bit easier than doing it on the fly. Alright, so if we had to talk about the level of variability here and what's the hardest versus what's easiest, it's pretty much in the order I gave it to you. If you choose to make one meal plan that fits your goals and eat it for 7 days, that's going to be the easiest approach, because literally you think one time and you're making these meals and then you just prep them out and you're going to eat them all week. It requires, however, the most discipline to stay on top of those meals. So it's easiest in the sense of cooking and planning, and then it's the hardest in the sense of discipline because there's no flexibility, no variability. And that's what I would suggest for anybody who's out there that, maybe you're really off track right now and you just need something to snap back in, you need something to get set. It's going to be easiest for you to take this couple hour period of time to get some meals, and yeah, you're still going to have the discipline side of it, but that doesn't go away with anything we do. But you will have, a whole bunch of basically prepared meals that fit your goals that you can just grab and eat, and all you have to do is make that decision one time when it comes down to eating some junk or eating what you already prepared for and sticking to your goals. Now, this mid-level approach I gave you guys, where you're doing, 3 meals and then 3 days worth of meals and then another 3-4 days worth of meals, that's probably the best approach for most people that are doing fairly good right now. They just want to have a little bit more reining it in, bringing that nutrition in, and they don't have a ton of experience maybe with macros to the degree that a lot of my clients would, or something like that, where they're tracking every day. They just want to, prep some stuff out, have it, know it's going to fit, not worry about tracking every day. That's a good way to do it, okay? Getting it tracked, planning it out, cooking a new 3, and that gives you more flexibility, more dynamic, a little bit more time intensive. You're going to be cooking twice a week during that approach. But at the end of the day, it's still fairly easy to really, do this, click into it, and get your nutrition under control. And this last approach is the most difficult in terms of having to plan, having to prepare, because you're doing literally 7 different days worth of food every night, and maybe you eat some of the same stuff and maybe you don't. That's up to you. But while it's the most difficult to prepare and match your macros and plan, because you have to do it every day, it takes 10-15 minutes, so let's be honest, it's going to give you the best level of flexibility. In other words, it's the easiest to stick to, because let's say you're sitting down on whatever night and you're like, I don't feel like having eggs for breakfast tomorrow, I'm going to mix it up and I'm going to have oatmeal and a protein shake. Well, you can do that. You can change your meals on the fly, and so if you're feeling a certain way, you're not stuck to, I already cooked 3 days or 7 days worth of meals, I have to eat those, they're going to go bad, blah, 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 this is what I did. You can literally adjust your nutrition on the fly as you go to fit your goals, and even if you want to take it up a notch, you can change it even during the day, right? So that's probably the easiest one, I would say, to stay consistent with. And if more people were doing this right now on quarantine, it would dramatically change everything. What everybody tends to be doing right now is just being very, very lazy, okay? With what I've seen on the internet, what I've heard from some clients, things like that, if you're not on top of your nutrition, it's because of basically 2-3 things. You're being lazy, meaning since you're throwing off your routine, you're not in your normal groove, you're not feeling like you can drive forward as hard as you would if you had the gym and everything else. And so basically you've just thrown the towel in and said, you know what, it is, free for all. And that's one thing. Another thing that's happening is people are stressed out. They're stress eating. They're eating too much because they're stressed out about not being at work or about money or about any of the other things going on in the world right now. We all know what's going on. They're stressed out and it causes them to eat. Not a good coping mechanism, but it does happen to a lot of people. Or it's the third one, which just basically is they're not prepared for the fact that they're out of their routine and they're at home and they find themselves, mindlessly snacking, drinking too much, just kind of not paying attention to any of this because they're in the house, they're bored, and they kind of go into boredom eating. Three options though that I just gave you, they will literally fix the problem, okay? And I gave you guys 3 today because I want, you to hear these 3 options, and you as the person out here watching it, you can say, all right, well, I hear what Coach Rye's saying. I got 3 choices. Which one sounds the easiest for me to do? And a lot of times, whichever one you choose will be the best one for you. And that's going to be the one that gets you out of this rut, gets you out of this, kind of ditch that you're in, getting stuck, falling off the wagon, get you back on the damn wagon, get you back on your health, your wellness, your goals, whatever you're trying to do. It will get you back on track. And I want to also extend an invitation to anybody that needs help right now with their nutrition. Please go to my website, TeamFFLEX.com. Subscribe to my free trial. Me or one of my coaches, we're down to help you with whatever you need right now through this crazy time. This is a free trial. There's no obligation. You don't have to pay me a dime. You never do. We will help you as if you're one of our own clients for the next 7 days absolutely free with whatever you need. And if you need help with nutrition, we can help you figure out which one of these approaches is best for you and how to go about it. So please make sure you do that. Regardless of whatever of these 3 options you choose, one of them will work for you. I guarantee it. This is going to ballpark in at probably about 95, 96, 97% of all people in the world. If they're off the wagon, if you do any of these 3 things, you're going to be able to get back on track, okay? And that's going to dramatically help. And what you got to do is you got to figure out which one of these work for you. So again, go with the one that sounded the best, that sounded like, yeah, you know what, maybe I don't feel like planning my macros every night, but I could prepare 7 days worth of meals, and that'll be fine, and I'll eat those, and I'm going to do that because whatever sounds good, do it. Try it out, go through it, and continue it on. And then, before we know it, fam, we're going to get through this time. We're going to be on to the next phase of life outside of the pandemic and everything going on. We're going to be outside of all this, and we're going to be back to our normal routines, and all this will just be a time. However, you don't want this to be a time that you let everything go to shit. Years worth of work, years worth of, eating and training and doing all this stuff. Don't set yourself back because you're not focused, because you're throwing in the towel, because you're being lazy, because you say it can't be done. It can. I'll tell you what, there's people out there right now doing far better than where you are with your nutrition, your training, whatever. There's people out there doing it. So are you going to let them win, or are you going to try to compete? You're going to try to keep after that. You're going to try to hit your weight loss goal. You're going to try to be ready for the stage when it comes back. You're going to try to build that muscle. You're going to try to stay on track with your overall just health and wellness. You need to do these things. And it's so important right now for everybody to be on top of this. I seriously can't say it enough. Physically and mentally, if you stick to your training, you stick to your nutrition, it will help you so so much through everything that's going on right now. I know everybody's stressed. I know there's a lot of panic. I know there's a lot of uncertainty. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. Hey, we're all going through it. And what you got to do at the end of the day is keep to what you can control, stay on top of what you're doing, and keep moving forward with what you got. And that's what's going to get us through this. We all got to look forward. We all got to stay on track. We all got to continue to do our best where we are with what we have. And then before we know it, we're going to be in a different place. All right? So I hope this video was helpful to you. If you thought it was, you got something out of it, well, definitely go check out my free trial, TeamFFLEX.com. But also share this out, okay? Your friends, your family, your coworkers, your followers, they could probably use this information too. It's probably going to help people. That's why I do all this stuff. I do literally all these YouTubes just for helping people. I don't make a cent off this stuff, you guys. I'm out here doing this because I want to help you get where you want to be, and that's my goal all the time. So do me a favor, share it out if you got anything out of it, and then subscribe to my channel because I got 5 shows I run all week for you. Again, just giving you the best content that I can come up with that I think is going to help you the most. All right, thanks for watching Protein Power. I'm Ryan Milton from TeamFFLEX. See you tomorrow for the Iron Palace. Go try. It's out.